Okay, hello everyone. I am Britta Simon. In these times where we are obliged to keep a physical distance from each other and we have to stay away from each other physically, it is important to know that we are all connected by a very powerful invisible force, and this force is called compassion. And apart from this, we are very blessed to also have our powerful voices to be connected with each other and to send each other words of empowerment. And this is what we are doing here today, sharing some powerful words of empowerment. And when it comes to powerful voices, who would be more perfect to have in this little session here than a very dear friend? And she is a beautiful opera singer, but first of all, a dear friend from London, and it's Katerina Mina. And I welcome you, Katerina, and I thank you so much for joining me here in this little session here. Where I would
Thank you so much, Britta, for inviting me for our powerful little talk. And what a beautiful introduction you just gave us. And indeed, compassion. Compassion is one of the 10 virtues that we need to have in order to have a higher frequency and be light beings of light and be able to shine our light bright. So compassion is indeed one of the top of the list of these 10 virtues, together with love and together, with forgiveness comes also compassion.
Gratitude, compassion, forgiveness. This is what is needed more than ever in these times. And I think even though times are challenging, we have now the opportunity also to remember or to, let's say, to get all these wonderful values to reactivate them in a very special and powerful way.
Indeed. So, and also because you did say the word remember, it's also the time to, I think, cherish, all the goodness we have in this lifetime. And I know for other people are in vulnerable positions, are in more unprivileged than others. Still, I think we have to wake up every morning and feel so grateful that we exist and that we are part of this beautiful world. Even when it's going through such a turmoil, to know that we can make a difference with our behavior now and with our attitude and with our discipline, because it's and patience. I mean, these are all things that I'm being tested with, it's a huge challenge. So all of a sudden we found ourselves being in a situation where we have never been before. You've got country after country after country locking down, and where we have to actually distance from each other. Social distancing is not easy, especially if one has to self-isolate on their own and they are older in age or condition. So we always must think of the other people who are in a more difficult position than us. For example, me, I'm self-isolating on my own and I find it extremely difficult. But at least I'm able to support myself, to do things for myself.
You are in a big city, you are in London, and you probably, you are still allowed to go out, and hopefully it will not, there will not be any curfews and so on, and you would be confined to stay in your apartment all the time. But also you, you in your profession as an artist, where everything, I mean, you are used to events and to be on stage and to do your rehearsals.
Yes, you're right, I'm very much used to socializing, being with people, but also very much used to traveling. I had incredible travel last year, and also I had some incredible concerts this spring that unfortunately were all cancelled. And so, yes, I'm very much used to traveling, meeting new people all the time, attending events and invitations where this is all part of my networking experience as an opera singer, and also working with my colleagues on stage, off stage rehearsing, and also with my singers that I train. And it's been very difficult just to see how things actually changed overnight at some point here in London. We were all sort of going about our normal lives, looking at the news and seeing what was going on in other countries, and not quite understanding, not quite getting the essence of the problem until, you know, our Prime Minister then one day said, you're staying in, and you're staying in indefinitely. We don't even have a time frame for this. And yes, the lockdown happened in stages. I'm not going to comment on this because I'm not an expert. I don't know why it happened in so many stages, but I believe that everything happens for a reason. This is a huge country, and I do see that the people are very, very disciplined here, which is a great thing. This is a universal situation, and it is a universal calling, and all together we have to act in a similar disciplined way in order not only to save as many lives as possible, but also to support those at the front line.
Absolutely.
The workers, anyone, be it from the cleaners of the hospitals to the doctors, you know, and the nurses, but also to the volunteers now that are working in the front line. So as an artist, I'm going to go into this now. And if you remember, you had asked me about a week ago to actually do this little interview and talk. And I was very honest. And I said to you, actually, I can't do it. I'm not in a position to now go online and give advice. What happened to me, which I think happens to everyone, is that I needed about 10 days to 2 weeks to adjust mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, to adjust to this huge change of life. And during this time, I couldn't force myself to do something that I knew I wasn't ready for, i.e. going online, dressing up, you know, putting my makeup on, and doing what I'm doing today. And this is the first advice I would give to everyone, and also artists especially, because we are more sensitive beings. And we find that our creativity has been slashed. I mean, this is how I felt, that my creativity died from one day to the other. So from me, the first advice is to accept it, accept what you're feeling, accept the situation you're in with your own self, and then work on it. So it took me 10 days to 2 weeks to be able to then send you a message and say, Britta, you know what? I'm damn ready for this. Let's do the interview.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And I feel better. And I feel better. And I feel that I am in a position now to give advice and help. So this is the first thing: accept it, and then don't force yourself to do anything that you don't feel like doing.
Of course.
At the same time, you have to be careful not to watch your levels of energy and mood. So yes, you're low in mood. I was also very low in mood and energy, but I knew there was a fine line. I could not have allowed that to go any lower. So know when you have to pick up yourself, and pick up yourself. And there are many ways of picking up yourself. First and foremost is to visit your inner self. So close your eyes, sit down, close your eyes, and isolate yourself from anything that's around you, any thoughts that are disturbing, and meditate. Meditate, whatever that means to you. Meditation, please do it. Do it. And if you don't know what it is, go online, research, Google meditation. You'll find so much advice on what to do. But actually meditating is to close your eyes or keep the eyes open, but just focus with your inner self and make sure you are on your core. Therefore, you are going to have disturbing thoughts. Just try and have them in front of your mind, passing, like you see them passing in front of you and they're going. They're not sitting there disturbing you. Mm-hmm. And I think if you practice this twice a day, 10 minutes or 5 even minutes every time, you'll see a big difference. Then the other thing we need to do when we feel low in energy and mood, it's one word and it's called move. Move. Even if you're inside and you're not going to go outside, you know, put on some music, dance to it. If you don't want to exercise, do this. Get into your breathing, low breathing, and walk in your space. You know, we're all allowed to go out once a day, even in the most strict lockdowns. Yeah. So go out. Mm-hmm. Go out and walk, either in nature or in your neighborhood, and have a purpose. So meditate is one, move is the second one, and I take move from a very good friend of mine who is a healer also, and she's an incredible spiritual being and human being. So, and move. And she's also an instructor, a physical instructor. Mm-hmm. So these two things for musicians, I think there will be the moment when you will feel you're ready to pick up your instrument and start playing again, or sing, if you're a singer, to sing with your voice. Yeah. And, you know, I'm reading on Instagram posts from even world famous opera singers. Some of them, they couldn't produce a single singing sound during this period. But there will be the day when you will wake up and you will feel you want to sing. So then use that. And then from then onwards, have a routine, like create a routine for you where you're quite disciplined while you're self-isolating, and whereabout your instrument and your practice will come back. Therefore, you will have daily contact and practice with your voice or your instrument. Now, you can, then I was ready to then go online. So I picked up on all my social media, where I was working a lot more in the past. And recently, you know, I didn't want to anymore. So again, I didn't force myself. But now, this situation is making me go back to my social media. Because it's the only way now we have to actually communicate and to voice ourselves. Absolutely. And again, we go back to the voice and how powerful this is. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many ways we can voice our opinions, advice, ourselves, and we can just go out there online when you're ready. So then you can perhaps do a live session on your social media, either give advice or perform, you know, and talk with your family, talk with your colleagues, and start getting back to a new way of life that still is keeping you in touch with your purpose. Whatever this purpose is. This is a very big subject. We're touching on a big subject because a lot of us may not have discovered our purpose. You know?
But it's
so meditating and going within.
You're giving here, and
meditating and going within is going to help us discover our purpose, and perhaps this is the moment in time during this unsettling and unprecedented situation to go within and discover our purpose.
Absolutely, yeah. No, thank you for the beautiful and powerful message, Katarina. And I'm ever so happy that you said, no, give me a bit of time to find myself. So, because this is where it all begins from ourselves. And this is also what I always advise my clients and my friends and my family. It has to come, you put yourself first at any time. It doesn't have to do with selfishness. It has to do
exactly.
with creating everything in yourself that you then and only then can give to others. If you don't.
And that's indeed. And we do go back to compassion. And it is a time to have compassion for ourselves first, compassion and understanding, and build up our health. Build up now. Take this time to build up our mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. They're all related. They're all connected. We are musicians. For musicians and artists, these are not words that are not making sense. What I'm saying makes sense to musicians, more sense to others.
That's to me, most certainly. Yeah.
So
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Katarina. And as you said, there's always a bit of discipline we can always activate. And I always said it's just one decision away. You can decide to be miserable and to give in and to give up, or you can decide and say, no, I take the problem and I go around and I enter from another door.
And I work with it, and I make something out of it, and I try to see the positive, and I go with the flow. And indeed, another important thing at the moment is to be patient, is to be compassionate, yes, to yourself, but also patient and disciplined and stay in. We have to follow the instructions. They're not there just because of any reason. We have to save lives, and we have to help the front line. Therefore, workers, therefore we have to stay in. We cannot socialize. We can do it online. We can have a virtual drink online with our friends. And the other thing we really have to do is to eat well. And the nutrition is very, very important also, and to feed ourselves with the goodness of the foods that we are buying.
In our
and for I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you all the time. And also for singers, the advice that we all get now is drink hot water all the time. Okay? You've got to drink hot water. Why? Because it kills, if there's anything, it's going to kill it before it goes down to the lungs. For singers, this is the best advice. I mean, we have to do this all the time.
Excellent.
So let's go back to what we have to be doing. And the other thing, which is incredible to kill this, is licorice tea. So you're looking to get pure licorice tea that you will be making and drinking. And this is what this was one of the ways the Chinese people killed the virus, with licorice tea. Therefore, there's so many things. And of course, for God's sake, read. Read books. If you have the time, this is the time to do it.
I use Audible, if I may say so, and it's absolutely wonderful. I plug in my earphones and then I walk and read while walking, and this is and we are so blessed, really. We have to really sit down, be disciplined, and count our blessings. If you don't have anything to do, just count your blessings, and I'm sure
you've just said something so important and beautiful. Count your blessings. And recently I created a box. So I was given a present which came in a beautiful box. So I thought, what am I going to do with this box? I'm not going to throw the box. I want to keep it. So I made it into a gratitude. This is my gratitude box. So every time I feel a blessing, I take a piece of paper, I write my blessing, and I fold it and I put it in the box. And this is another way of counting our blessings, to write them down. Write down every day what you feel you're thankful for and put it in the box.
No, excellent. I mean, there was a whole box of, it was a huge box of Excellent advice and encouragement.
Thank you very much.
So grateful.
And thank you for initiating this, Britta. You are an incredible light worker and you just keep on going. I mean, you have an unbelievable energy and force, you know.
Yeah, then this is actually, yeah, sometimes we do not know where we get it from because, okay, we have our ups and downs, and sometimes we are in a time where we said it can't get any lower. But I don't know, but there is, and this is what always was keeping me, there was always a divine force, an invisible force that, you know, that lifts you up and that shows you the way really out of where
it's the divine source of light that we're all connected to. We just have to tap into it and you know, and work with it
in ourselves.
We've got to listen.
Protected, but the same power we have in ourselves, we sometimes just forget it, and then the outside powers, they remind us to.
Yes, and we've got to listen to these voices, you know, and we've got to listen to it, which is our intuition, and it's the connection to our higher self, and we've got to connect and see the signals that we receive from the universe in relation to this. What this is really is our spiritual path, our spiritual journey. And the problem with most people is because this spiritual journey is not going to be easy. Because the more you go onto your spiritual journey, the more blockages come up, and the more challenges, and the more you have to deal with these blockages to unblock them. So most people are very much afraid to actually go on that spiritual journey.
Yeah, but we can always encourage everyone, because it's also, on the other hand, also so rewarding at the end.
Yes. And let's remember a motto that is so powerful. No pain, no gain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
No pain, no gain. We have to go through the pain, and we're going to get out the other side winners with light, you know, having all this light behind us and inside us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So thank you very much. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. I would just like to extract 3 big M's from you. This is meditation, move, and music.
Yes. Well done. Yeah. Fantastic. I didn't think of it in this way, but the 3 M's. Yes.
Anyway,
thank you very much.
All my love to London, and stay well, stay safe, stay healthy, and in a good spirit. And we talk as and when, always, on our channels here. And I am ever so happy that you are here with me today and shared all these beautiful messages. And
it's my pleasure. And all my love to Paphos, which is the most beautiful district of Cyprus and my beloved place.
It is beautiful. I'll send you some pictures. And
thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and thank you to Katarina, and bye-bye to London. All our love. I'm gonna close this little talk here now, which is a bit longer than expected.
I know.
It was,
what can you do?
I think it is well received by everyone who's listening to this message, and we speak to you soon.